Ladies and gentlemen, she does not want me to read this bio. She just yelled from the side and was like, don't tell them about... All right, she's done a ton of cool shit. Rosario Dawson! Katniss Everdeen, these weird Hunger Games cheers.
All right.
It's also because I'm extremely long-winded, so like let's just get to the talking.
Let's
bit,
do it.
We
Let's
might
do
not
it.
get through like 3 questions.
Yeah, we're fine. No one knows who I am. Hi. I am Rosario's sister. No, I'm just kidding.
Sister from another mother.
Sister from another mister. So we've been having a lot of fun backstage, as you guys can tell. I'm actually out of breath from dancing. That's so pathetic.
We was tripping.
Yeah, we were tripping. Okay. So I am Amanda, CEO of Catalyst Creative. We just did this whole learning series. Thank you guys so much. She's closing us out strong. Trust me. I'm setting you up. I'm setting you up. All right. First question.
Dun, dun, dun.
I feel like I'm like Diane Sawyer or something.
Get it, girl.
All right, let's do it. You have
Hold on, get my weave straight. Hold on.
All right, do it.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. You have had the opportunity to breathe life into many female characters. Of all these, which did you feel was the one that could positively impact the most women and spread a positive message about what it means to be a strong female today, like yourself?
Not to do that thing that people do, but I'm going to do that thing that people do. But like strong female, isn't that a bit
Just
redundant?
strong person.
Isn't that a bit redundant?
I said that earlier today. Strong person.
Like, a person. Like I always think that's really interesting. Like what are your stronger characters that you've played? And it's like, so what? The other ones were just weak? Like I don't get that. Like we never have like it was a strong male lead. Like it was just like that doesn't ever happen. I don't get what that is. And honestly, I think I've had a chance of playing some really remarkable people, and maybe you wouldn't say someone like Mimi in Rent, who's a drug addict and a stripper, and poor, and not, like that she's not a strong person, or I played a crack mom in this movie, Give Me Shelter, and she was her strength to kind of put everything and shove all those skeletons in the closet and keep it shut, to like not be able to look at herself because she was so confronted. The idea that she would rather look for a high rather than look to get her life back in order. Like it's a different kind of strength, but I think it's really empowering to see all of those stories. Yeah. And I think it's helped me to become the strong female that I am, being able to step into all of those roles and step into all of those shoes. So. Awesome. I just finished doing this movie, Unforgettable, that I did. It was the strongest male lead that I've ever done.
Keep going.
Girl, we could start. But I think I've had some. I did this film Descent, and I've just done a lot of different things, and maybe smaller parts of stuff that people wouldn't have seen. Sometimes people will be like, "Oh, Gail from Sin City," and then they're scared of me when they meet me. I do bite, but not that hard.
All right.
And,
All right.
We can negotiate. We can have safety words.
That's a tweet.
But it's all right. I'm generous. No, but like I just think it's. I think it's just. I had a whole moment actually on set. I just wrapped a film at 4 o'clock this morning. I was covered in blood earlier. It was great, and I was really feeling incredibly present, and just how grateful I am that. I'm a people person. They were saying they make fun of me at the monitor because I'm friends with everybody. I talk to everybody. I find people interesting. I'm always stuck with crazy in the corner because I'm like so fascinated. Like, you're nuts. Wow.
Keep going.
Keep going. What are you gonna say next? And I'm just fascinated by people. I'm fascinated by being alive. I've gotten to meet some people that I would describe as being alive, and that's what I want to be. And I just feel really grateful that. Because of the movie Kids, which I got discovered in, I ended up finding this life path of being able to be an actor. And awesome. It's who my personality is, and I get to live my life purpose. And I think that's powerful.
And you're alive.
And
that's
I'm
for damn
alive.
sure.
We are all alive right
that's
now.
That's for sure.
So even for y'all who are filming this and watching it, like, put it so you can actually see it here now.
Love that.
You can look at it later.
Yes.
Make sure you're here.
Don't tweet that because your phone's down. So, you know, I will say, it says celebrities, but you're such a multifaceted human being. I'm just going to say many human beings are involving themselves in philanthropic causes and being pulled in a multitude of directions when it comes to social impact and helping the world. What is your take on how individuals with great reach in the public spotlight can best involve themselves in causes in a responsible way?
I think you've really got to go with your instincts, you know? I'm reading this book called Follow Your Gut, you know, because we're really 10% human cells. We are a composite of a lot of bacteria and other things. We are, as earthlings, we need to be much more aware of the fact that earthlings aren't just humans. There's a lot of other beating hearts and things and lives that are out there, and we're a part of all of that. And I think, you know, I was raised in activism, and it's kind of hard not to be so aware of it when you're raised in a squat in the Lower East Side of Manhattan during the middle of the crack and heroin and AIDS epidemics. So I had a lot of, you know, people that I grew up with who were organizers and stuff, and so it was a part of me. It was I licked stamps and envelopes with my mom, and you know, she encouraged me to do my first campaign, which was to save trees when I was 10 in San Francisco. I made posters.
That's the
Didn't
opposite.
really. I was trying. I wasn't there yet. Yeah. The heart was there. I've gotten way better about that.
800 trees have been killed during this campaign.
During this campaign to save trees. You know, but you know, I was encouraged. And so it's, you know, that's an important thing to find that. You know, sometimes people turn to it after they've had kids, or someone in their family has gotten a terminal disease, or they saw a movie or commercial or something, you know, but generosity, like activism and organizing and all that stuff is hard. And it is a job for people. They really take this on, and I think it's a really, you have people like Michael Skolnick and people who are coming up, NQ who's gone and poet and like been an ambassador of great ideas, and it's just, that's the problem I think is with the philanthropic system, and that we're not encouraged to just give. Like, you know, like I'm on the street and I see a homeless guy and he's like, yo, I get $1. I'm not gonna be like, what you gonna spend it for? Like, I'm probably not gonna spend it on anything that great either. I'm probably gonna get myself some liquor, you know what I'm saying, or something like that, you know what I mean? Or like some candy, like that's bad for your teeth too, you know what I mean? So it's like, if you're gonna give, just give. And people who wanna give need to give. Because there are organizers out there and activists out there who wanna be active and who wanna organize. And they're spending a lot of time trying to fundraise to get people who want to give all the things that they need on their list of things to do in order to give what they want to give. It's just, so I think, you know, when celebrities are a part of that, because that's the specific group of people you asked about in that world, it's speak to your heart. You know, you want it to be genuine. I've seen a lot of organizations suffer because they try to bring in a celebrity of some kind to help amplify their message, but then they get someone on their green carpet, red carpet, blue carpet to talk about something, and they don't know what they're talking about, and it hurts more than it helps.
Yes.
So it's really about following your heart and going with that, and you can't go wrong with that. That's generosity. That's smiling at the people as you walk out of here and not stepping over a homeless person on your way into a fundraiser. You know, like, that's the everydayness of it.
Yeah. And can you imagine, like, every time you got paid, someone was like, where are you gonna spend that?
Wouldn't you like to know? Probably a Burning Man. No?
Exactly. So speaking of philanthropy, you are so dedicated to some really incredible organizations, V-Day, Operation USA, Amnesty International, but what I love, you're super focused more close to home.
Yeah.
And that's a really important, I think, piece of even what we're doing here at Life is Beautiful, is that local touch, like the Lower East Side Girls Club and Voto Latino.
Mm-hmm.
Did I butcher that?
Voto Latino. It's
Voto
okay.
Latino. Voto Latino.
It's like you were talking about my name.
I know.
Rosario Dawson.
Rosario Dawson.
Love it.
Can you tell me?
I wanted to be Samantha so bad when I was little. Remember Who's the Boss? I was
Yes.
like, Mom, can I be Sam? Wouldn't that be great?
And now you're Rosario.
And she was like, I'll try it on you for a week and see what happens. She'd be like, Sam, Sam.
No.
Rosario, yes? She goes, it's not working.
No way.
Damn it. I tried to have a more normal.
Save the trees and the Sam. Nope. So can you tell the audience a little bit more about why these, particularly these two local organizations are so near and dear to your heart and personal to you?
Well, I grew up on the Lower East Side. I'm from Coney Island, Brooklyn. BK. New York. But I grew up on the Lower East Side, and the teen pregnancy rates, the dropout rates are incredibly severe, and I didn't have a place like the girls' club to go to when I was younger. And I was lucky that I was discovered on my stoop and got out. And that would be a lot of the things that I would hear in the community. It was like, oh, you're so lucky you got out. And it's like, this is a great community. And it's not about getting out. It's about being here and all of us being community together. And this woman, Lynn Pentecost, actually started a girls' club in her basement. She has 2 sons. And she started it because the boys' clubs of America went co-ed across the United States. And the 2 that were very close in my neighborhood vehemently declined to become co-ed. They still aren't. Wow. And so she started a girls' club. And all these years later now, we have 30,000 square feet of awesomeness on Avenue D. Wow. With a planetarium. They had the forethought to put in an Airstream onto the 2nd floor that they gutted and made it into a recording studio.
There's an Airstream park here, by the way.
Which is so dope. The girls were like, do you want to do a drop? I'm like, yes. The planetarium's amazing. Each of the bathrooms are designed with different artists in the community. I mean, it's a really, really, really special space. And we're opening it up to boys in the community. And we have chapters in Chiapas, in Nepal, in Glasgow, in New Orleans. Like, it's really, in Sierra Leone, opened up one in Sierra Leone. I work in Sierra Leone a lot. And it's just, it's an amazing thing when you see an injustice, it's a small thing. Like, you read about it, you hear whatever, and it just, when you get that like fire in you, that's what you need. There's that thing called the dip, because it's hard to get through a dip when you have a great idea and then you hit a wall, because you'll have beginner's luck, but then at some point you're going to hit a wall. And the staying power to get over that wall and figure out how to navigate and negotiate that wall to get to where you really want to go is that passion. Mm-hmm. And so that's why it's not about just like, hey, pick a cause and do whatever. Like, really follow your passion. And then you'll figure it out. And so the Lower East Side Girls Club, I'm from the Lower East Side. And I didn't have that as a girl, but I can tell you when I'm on Avenue D and I'm in a planetarium and I'm zooming out from the center, from Avenue D out into the known universe, I'm a girls' club member. Wow. I'm excited to be there.
That's incredible.
And Voto Latino is an organization I co-created 11 years ago. It's about, we started it off just doing voter registration, and we grew out to doing census initiatives. Now we do summits. We're working with MIT to do badge systems so that we can start aggregating the education that is starting, because the school systems are so different now, and people are learning online, and how can we capture that? How can we encourage that? Like this, we gave away $500,000 earlier this year. It was 18 to 34-year-olds who had a great idea for their community, something like one that happened in Oakland where it was like, hey, there's an app and it's a game, and if you put in where there's gang activity, you can figure out how to navigate back home and avoid it. Wow. Simple things, but can make a real impact in your community. And so we gave away money to young entrepreneurs who want to develop cool things like that. So we're way beyond what the scope of what Voto Latino was, and it's exciting to see. And we really hope that some of the people, because as we hear a lot, especially the immigration conversation, Latinos are a huge part of our country, and it doesn't bode well for our country if we're not really putting in the work to make sure that when those numbers change proportionately, demographically, that also has, like, there's civicness in there, and there's education in there, and there's leadership in there, and there's great entrepreneurship that's being encouraged, because you're not just consumers, you're entrepreneurs, and that's a really important thing. So that's what I'm really excited about with Voto Latino. And Oof. Some of the other organizations I get to work with.
That was amazing.
So awesome.
Boom. Boom.
Bam.
So you said something about entrepreneurship, so I'm going to skip to the question around social entrepreneurship. Okay. Is really the new way people all over the world are doing business. And also, you started a company, Studio 89.
Studio 189.
Studio 189. You're not busy at all in any capacity.
Yes.
How have you seen this organization impact the world? Tell the group a little bit more about that.
Well, I'm wearing some Studio 189. Studio 189 is a company and an organization that I created with a friend of mine. We were friends since we were teenagers. And she comes from like luxury couture background. She worked at Bottega Veneta and Hermes and all of this. And her family background is Ghanaian and Ivorian. And I took her on a trip with me to the Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, with V-Day. And we met all of these incredible women who were learning such things as that they were no less Congolese just because they were women and that they had rights. And there's an incredible civil war that is still going on there due to conflict minerals, which go into all our cell phones, and tin and tungsten and all of these incredible minerals that they're sitting on. Is a gold mine, but is fueling a lot of war. And one of the major tactics of war there is using rape, because it really destroys communities. And so these women were coming to get rehabilitated and get back on their feet. And one of the things they were being encouraged to do is to really develop their artisanal skills. And so that's where we, Reem and I have been wanting to collaborate for a long time. And we decided that this was going to be it. So we started a fashion line. We work with different people. So there are different people who are already doing stuff. So recycled glass beads coming from Coca-Cola bottles and Guinness bottles, because I'm not, if you're gonna be an alcoholic, you should really use the whole of it, you know what I mean? Like, it's dry now. What shall we do with this bottle? No, okay. And it's been really remarkable, working with these remarkable people and seeing what they can do and encouraging that. And it's pushed us to do that. I have a lot of organizations that I work with. I've been doing it for a really, really long time. But this is the first time doing something that's for profit. Yeah. And it's encouraging people all along from the seed of the indigo plants, where we get, from Mali, and it's the original denim, to, the Coca-Cola bottles and recycling and upcycling and all the different things that we do, to the consumer. And, we are slow fashion. We make to order. We are, we sell online. We are opening ceremony, and we're starting to hopefully, we're 2.5 years in, so we're starting to get our collection. We're on our 3rd collection, small. But we're really hoping to get to that place where we can also be helping other designers. We do fashion pop-up schools, and we're just working with really remarkable people, like my great-grandmother. My great-grandmother worked for the Ladies International Garment Workers Union, and here in the States. And so I feel like I get to work with people like her, because if it wasn't for her, my grandmother couldn't have done what she did, my mother couldn't have done what she did, and I wouldn't be able to be doing what I'm doing. So I'm really glad to be able to do that.
So good. So we talked a little bit about this. We're not sure if you noticed, we did speak about it before.
Praying mantis.
Yep, but across the street is a praying mantis. I don't know if anyone saw it. Praying mantis, guys. Come on.
Yay, impermanence.
That spits out fire, an art piece from Burning Man. And as I said, I saw that you've attended Burning Man before. So what do you feel is the impact of communities like Burning Man, Life is Beautiful, et cetera, and why are they important?
We need, our subcultures are what really celebrates what it is to be human, and discover the process. We read in our history about how people lived before. We have our governments and all of these different places and how we identify ourselves. And then we create these subgroups, and we go, this is the music that we like, and this is the lifestyle that we want. And with Burning Man, it's radical inclusivity, radical participation. It's about impermanence and celebrating that and really being present and in the moment. It's about gift giving and trade and art and celebration, and it's really powerful. Leave no trace behind. There's a whole group of people who sit there, and there's all these rules about what to do because you're bringing it out into the middle of the desert, and you don't want to just leave it a mess because then we can't come back the next year. And it's forethought, and they're just really beautiful things. And I wasn't able to go this year, but it's my New Year's, I consider. And I thank God for the people who come together and go, hey, wouldn't that be cool? And let's just do it because. We got to just do things because. It's fun to do it. I'm all about DIY right now. I've been making soaps. I've been doing these quarterly boxes. I started getting crazy. I'm like, let's make messages in the bottle. Everyone's like, Jesus. We're painting. I was like, remember that time Auntie made covered walnuts and ornaments? And was like, yeah, let's make 1,000. Everyone was like, that'd be so. It was fun for that first hour, and then 3 days later, I was like, why did we decide to do that? But it's still awesome. And then when you have them all there, you're like, wasn't that great? And it's gonna make someone smile and someone go, eh. But that's not the point, It's really fun just to do things and not have to do it always for this exchange of a paycheck and this and looking good and da 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 da. But just doing because it's fun. I see like, there's a woman who was working on our set and she had this coloring book for adults. I was like, I don't see the difference. But it was like, it's just a coloring book. I mean, it's a kind of more difficult one, but like not that much. Like I think most kids can handle it. But it was like all about like exploring your creativity and doing all this stuff. And I was like, that's genius. Like, I think that's just so awesome. And I want that. I feel like I'm so blessed because what I do for a living is put myself into other people's shoes and explore what life would be like through their eyes. And it's challenging and it's confronting at times and it's upsetting and it's painful and it's exciting and it's exhilarating and it's sexy and it's fun. It's a lot of different things, but it's most importantly eye-opening. And I think that's a really important thing for us to do is really keep our eyes open and see each other and realize that we have a lot more options than we ever consider for ourselves because, our way of doing things is just our way today. And mostly it's probably something we learned from someone else. And we could probably make up something else and maybe make it up a little bit better. So try.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. I'm like
I like
I do this. People get really
years?
mad at me how because I do this
I like
all
it.
the time.
It's perfect.
Quentin Tarantino was like, I was in a meeting, I got all this money for my movie, and I went, that's not cute, Rosario. I'm like,
whatever.
I'm like wiping my sweat mustache. It's all good. It's all good.
How many years have you been to Burning Man?
Oh, since 2007. This year is my first time. 2006 to 2000. Yeah. So this is my second year missing since then, which was really heartbreaking. I've done like crazy stuff at Burning Man. Talk about just because. It was like, I'd never built anything, and then they were like, because they have different themes every year, and it was like, the theme this year is rites of passage. And I was like, what other rite of passages there than to come through a vagina? So it was like, we should make a huge misting vagina canal. Wouldn't that be fun? And then it was like, well, you can't leave the penis out, though, because like there's not possibility. So we did this penis slide that went into a misting vagina canal. It was 30 feet long. It was awesome. I had friends who I didn't know went through it, and they were like twins. And when they were giving birth, she came out breech. So they ended up having to do a cesarean, and he came out first. So then they had this, they're in their 30s. They had this issue their whole lives that she was supposed to be born first. I don't know if you guys know twins, but this is like a really big deal with them. It's like seconds, but like whatever. So they had this whole like experience of like she went through the whole thing and came out, was like born out of the labia, like glistening with the rose water. It was awesome. Like the sounds people made coming through the hymen. We had this like textured pillow that we put on the top, and people would come on. We go find the G-spot, and they're like, no, wasn't it that humpback? I was like, no, she'll tell you just like in real life. And they had to go back inside, and then they find it like this textured pillow with this little ding dong, and it would ding dong and lights would flash. I thought I was doing a service. We had sperm stress balls. The stuff you find out online, you're like, you think there's sperm stress balls? Yes, and not only are there sperm stress balls, but you can actually put a little emblem on them.
No!
See, you think of these things yourselves, and then you realize there's a crazy, weird, awesome people out there.
DIY.
Like that's what Life is Beautiful is about.
Yes.
Coming to these festivals is seeing that there's other awesome, like-minded folks like you. That's what organizing is about. Like, that's what going to the movies is about. Like, it's about being together and laughing. It's a different experience when you do it together, And that's what I love about activism, because people come together and, you have that network moment. I'm angry and I'm not going to take it anymore. And you look out your window and you see all these other people yelling and you go, okay, there's power in numbers and maybe we can change this thing. And how many times have we seen in history something that was legal is no longer legal anymore? So sometimes something just being legal doesn't mean that it's right. And so it's a really powerful thing when we can come together and confer and do that.
It's the I'm not alone. I'm not. Well, the last question is.
I'm getting yelled
all
at.
All right. I know. She's the best.
That's why I skipped the bio, guys. I know I'm long-winded.
Let's do it. This is actually one of my favorite questions, but if you could tell one thing to all girls today, and I want to do girls. I want to do girls.
Okay.
If you could tell one thing to all girls today, what would it be?
Fight like a girl. I'm doing this movie right now, or I just wrapped this morning, and we were doing this fight stuff, and it got scrappy. It was so much fun. And it was like screamed out at one point. It was like, you fight like a girl, but you could, the way that the guy was one of the crew members, I love him, and he said it, and it was like, he meant it in like the most like awesome, powerful way. And I was like, yeah, man, I do fight like a girl. It was awesome, and it was strong, and we felt really, you know, we partied until 4 o'clock in the morning, and there's people falling asleep, and I'm like, come on, let's do this again, you know? And it's like, you know, that's what I've gotten from the women in my life, you know? And it's like the fortitude that's there, and, you know, it's like, yeah, maybe she's not going to be the sprint runner, but she's going to do the endurance mile, you know what I mean? You got to have endurance to give birth to babies. It doesn't even, and you don't even have to do it in order to know that you've got that in you. And I think that's a really powerful thing. I think, you know, we are both male and female. It takes a man and a woman to make you, so we're half and half. And so for any of that to ever push against one or the other doesn't make any sense. Like, what are you denying about yourself? And what are you putting down about this amazing other human being in front of you? And so I celebrate women, I celebrate men, I celebrate life. I feel very lucky to be alive. My grandmother died 4 years ago, and I would describe her as alive. And she's not alive anymore. She was one of my favorite people in the whole world.
She's here.
She is. And, you know, she might not have rated in anybody else's books. You know, she didn't do major grand things and all this kind of stuff, but she was my vieja. She was my bruja. And that's, you need to have that. You know, we had, like, she was definitely old school. She had her way of doing things, but she was like, ay, Rosario, I saw you do that. And it was great, you know, like, I have these women in my life, and it's like, you know, especially in Hollywood, I should be ready to slit my throat, because it's like, oh my God, I'm 36, kill yourself. You know, it's like ridiculous, but it's like that thing of, you know, looking at these different ideas of like, oh, because as you're an athlete or you're a ballerina or whatever, like this is it. That's all you've got. That's your worth, you know? And it's like, no, because thank God I have women like Eve Ensler and Jane Fonda, because we're all on the same board at V-Day, who are like, I'm having the best sex of my life. I'm in my 70s, and you're like, yes. You know, like I want to like look forward. I want to enjoy all of it. You know, one thing I tell little girls this all the time, and I get this from my mom, so I'm quoting my mom. But you only get to be a little girl once. Because after that, then you're a woman. And after that, you're an old woman. And that's all good. You want to enjoy all those stages, because it's really not cute when a woman and an old woman want to be a little girl. So be a little girl right now, because so many little girls I meet, they're like, I want to, you know, they're trying, I must increase my bust. And they're doing all this stuff, and I'm like, yo, I miss the days when I was flat-chested. The over-the-shoulder boulder holds hurt, yo. Give you cramps.
I hate them.
You know, it's like, you know, so be who you are and where you are right now, because I think we spend way too much of our life going, oh man, because how many women have I met who are like, if I realized the body I was so insecure about, the brain, the place I thought that I was so insecure about, when I look back on it, now that I'm 50 and in my 20s, I'm going, snap out of it. Like, what I would do to have those 20-year-old, you know, haze, you know, itty-bitty titty committees, you know what I mean? So it's like, be where you are, because it's the only place you can be, and enjoy every moment of it, because you never know what's around the corner.
Perfect. Your grandma would be proud. Everybody give Rosario a round of applause. Woo!
Let's sing.
And we're off.
Please stop. Please stop. All right, thank you.